Hello, everybody, and welcome back to First Ring Daily, where Paul has hijacked the show notes. Paul, what did you do?
To the show notes?
Yeah, Paul just adds things.
I don't know.
Just
No. It's one day from Microsoft's big announcement about the Office UI change. I ended up writing 3 articles about it. I consider this to be incredibly important. Some people don't, but I'm getting today a lot of move the cheese type responses on Twitter today, and I just kind of wanted to address that because I don't think that's fair. And you know, I look at this thing and I say, this is basically a tab toolbar. Microsoft calls it a simplified ribbon. It doesn't matter what we call it. It wasn't done arbitrarily, and it wasn't done just to make things a little different so we could say, hey, look, it's different now, right? The original ribbon, as envisioned in whatever year that was, 2004, 2005, was done for all the right reasons, right? It was hard to find all the commands that were available in these really complex applications, and the menu and toolbar-based UI had not scaled to meet the modern needs of the apps. And so they came up with the ribbon. Now, we can kind of go back and forth on whether they did it right. I arguably they didn't. And in some ways, what's interesting about the ribbon is it reminds me of the Kinect in a strange way, right? They had this idea, and the idea was that we're going to use gesture and motion, and that's going to be the big thing. But the part of Kinect that actually took off was voice, not the gesture stuff, and so we don't have Kinect anymore, but we also don't have good voice. But that was the thing that really worked. With the ribbon, the thing that really worked was the tabs, right? It was a way to get a bunch of stuff available with a click very easily at the top of the screen. What they screwed up was the big ribbon thing. They made it too big. So they're fixing the problems with the ribbon. And I just wanted to sort of address that real quick because I think people look at this like, oh, they're just changing things. It's like, no, they're not just changing things. They've looked at this in a very thoughtful fashion and said, well, here's what we have. What can we take forward from what we had, and what can we improve? And it's going to be far more configurable than the ribbon ever was, because it really wasn't. And hopefully it will be something that syncs in your account. I don't know about that yet, but I think the ribbon part of it, or the tab part of the ribbon, is what really worked, and that's coming forward. And I think going back to a scalable toolbar style presentation is also the right approach. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like people don't get it.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it right up until I need to use it.
Yeah, well, right.
That's the ultimate test, right? It's
yeah.
You download, like, I'm a heavy user of Excel. I'm in it several times a day, every single week. And if I can't get to what I need, obviously there's going to be a learning curve, which is going to be whatever. I need to go in with an open mindset and see if it is better. But as we know, they mentioned, I think, no less than 10 times, if you like the older style, you can still get it back. It's not gone.
Right, which, by the way, is one of the things they fixed. That's something they did horribly to users when they went to the original ribbon. They didn't let you go back to the old UI. The other thing I just throw out, too, is, you mentioned Excel. All of the Office apps now, and this is something that happened post-ribbon, have this Tell Me integration. Tell Me is a wonderful way to find where something is. Like, a lot of people have an idea in their head, like, I want to do this thing, but I don't even know what it's called, or let alone where it is. And that helps you find that stuff. And so as the UI changes, as confusing as that may be to some people, remember that you'll always be able to use that functionality to find the location of this stuff. So it's all good news.
It is. And so, Paul, this kind of leads nicely into the next little segment here. Actually, we got two well, this is going to be a real Office Bonanza episode, now that I think about it. Because our good friend, Walking Cat, found what is short version is the end user licensing agreement for Teams Free, which I wrote about first back in February. And so I think that's a pretty solid sign that a free iteration of Teams is coming, and we're now one step closer. You can go view that online agreement. They haven't announced any availability dates, but yep, it's coming.
Should we halt the podcast to respond to our coworkers' request on Skype, or how do we how do we handle this near daily occurrence?
I
know.
I tend to ignore everything, mostly including you. But yeah.
Anyhow, so Teams standalone for free.
Yep.
I mean, I guess I always sort of thought once it matured that Teams would basically replace Skype.
That's what I was wondering too. And that's kind of what I speculated is so this thing becomes free. What's the point of Skype? Because as we all know, Skype is just a loving and growing brand at this point. Why not?
Well, I mean, short term, the point of a free Teams would be you're an outside contractor. You're working with a company that uses Teams internally. They want to include you in whatever group and team, whatever. And this is, how you would make that happen. You don't have to have your own Office 365 subscription. So it might just be that.
It could be, but we will we'll hopefully find out, and Microsoft will clarify here.
Yep.
And then the other little bit of Office Bonanza news, part 2. Paul, there was a vague tweet out yesterday that said everything in Office is now JavaScript. Yeah, before we go any further, if people ever want to know why Microsoft never lets engineers talk to Paul and I, this is a perfect example of why that rarely happens.
Communication is so key, and getting it right is so important. I saw this tweet. Someone on our forums, or someone posted it in our forums as well. That's hilarious. That's amazing. It's like, so I knew something was off there. I they're not rewriting a bunch of the stuff that he says they're rewriting, for one thing. And when you look at something like Office 365, which was kind of the central point, he was kind of saying it was all being rewritten in JavaScript. And I think what he really meant was that in recent years, most of Office 365, the new stuff, has been happening on the web. And that's fair to say. We talked about this kind of stuff like Planner, Teams are all based on web technology. Either are literally websites or are based on web technology. So anyway, the reason I wrote about it, honestly, I would have just ignored this, but he kept trying to correct himself on Twitter, and then finally he posted to Reddit. And the thing that really bugged me about this was he was just wrong. Like if you went down the list of the things he said in that first tweet, if there were 6 things that he said, 5 of them were flat out wrong, and one of them I just don't care about. But he blamed the character limit on Twitter for the mistake, and then he went and clarified every single one of those things. And so I was like, oh no. I'm sorry. Look, people make mistakes. That's not really the issue. But then when it's kind of like the Surface thing where the machines weren't sleeping and they blamed everything on Earth except for the fact that they screwed up,
Yep.
And it's like, guys, you can't say something's a hard computer science problem. You invented the technology that it's not working here. Like, anyway, I wrote about it because of the ham-handed way that he handled it. What he should have said up front was like, look, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Basically everything I said was wrong. Here's the truth. And he didn't do that. And I just thought, okay, so I'm going to just clarify this because I just felt the whole thing was just weird.
Yeah. And through many of the clarifications, it wasn't the apps were completely rewritten. It was that some of the UI components, and then it just kind of distilled down that from there. Another example or analogy, if you will, would be like saying, hey, Microsoft's an enterprise-only company. And then in subsequent tweets, saying, oh, yeah, well, we also have Xbox. Oh, yeah, we also have Surface. Oh, yeah, we also have Bing. Oh, yeah, we also have Skype. And then you get down to the point, you're like, okay, just one little portion of that had some truth to it, but everything else was wrong.
I mean, people have often asked me about this PWA thing, and is Microsoft going to do this, and what would a PWA version of Word look like? And you kind of have to look at Office Online as it is today and say, well, it's a little bit like the mobile apps. It's kind of a subset of the full Office experience. Could those things be made into a PWA? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I kind of wonder with this UI switchover if that isn't the direction they're going. And,
that's the first thing I thought of too. Is this is how they're going to streamline the apps and get them ready? This is step 1 of getting them ready for that form factor.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Anyway, Microsoft is not completely rewriting all of this stuff in JavaScript. They have some stuff that's based on Electron, which is based on JavaScript, which is really TypeScript probably, but it doesn't really matter. There's this mix of stuff, web technologies, or not just JavaScript, obviously. There's HTML and CSS and other technologies as well. Microsoft is using what it wants to use where it's using it. It's doing all kinds of different things. There isn't a major strategy shift to discuss here.
Yep. Why did my show notes just collapse? Anyways, little other extra fun tidbit here, and I think Paul's got more information. I can't tell if this is actually news or even worthwhile, but Microsoft, this very specific part is, but Microsoft's 250 million people are now running 1803 in that they used AI to make the delivery process faster and better, Paul.
Yeah, so a lot of interesting data. I hesitate to call them facts. The central issue I have with this announcement, which is that Microsoft has confirmed that the April 2018 update has gone out twice as fast as its predecessor. That was what AdDuplex had claimed a few weeks earlier, and they claimed it was on 50% of PCs. The AdDuplex data is based on PCs out in the world running Windows Store apps, or Microsoft Store apps. Microsoft has better data, obviously, because they include enterprise deployments where those types of machines wouldn't show up. So I often refer to the AdDuplex information as being like representing PCs out in the world, like, PCs run by human beings, like people. Anyway, they didn't confirm the 50%. They confirmed that it has rolled out twice as fast as the previous update, and it reached 250 million users twice as quickly as the Fall Creators update did. So that they're basically saying that 250 million computers have received this April update in about a month or whatever time frame we're at now. It's interesting. Did you notice they also did not say that it has hit 700 million active devices yet?
Yep, almost 700.
It's still they're using the same language. Do you know when the first time they made that claim was?
Wasn't it Terry and his?
Yeah, it was in April.
Yep.
It was like 2 months ago. So, remember someone on the Windows Insider team posted the 700 million figure in a slide. I wrote a story like, oh, it looks like they finally did hit 7 million, no surprise. And actually, Microsoft got back and said, no, sorry, that was incorrect. It's not 700 million yet. Here we are in mid-June, and it's still not 700 million. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the AI bit, where they're using AI to determine which machine should get it. They're seeing a higher success rate, they say. And as of today, it's literally being fully deployed, meaning that if you're running Windows 10 out in the world and you haven't gotten it, you're going to get it today. And, maybe it will take a few days or even a week or whatever to install, but you are going to get it if you haven't. And that's kind of incredible.
Yeah.
It's like,
My beef, if you will, with this information is they're talking about how they're using AI to determine this. But to me, it's by what they describe, this is much more machine learning than it is actual intelligence. It's like, okay, this particular configuration does not work. We're getting this reports, and they're just aligning data bits to say that this machine should not get it, as opposed to actually AI. And those two terms get interwoven terribly, and they're two totally different things. And that's why I wonder about this.
I'm not going to defend that, but in Microsoft's world, I am sure that if you were to look up how they use these words, these terms, machine language is considered a part of the AI thing. I'm sure that's how they think of it. So
it's probably, but it also makes you wonder what they were doing before. Were they just rolling the dice, and be like, these machines, let's just see what happens. Here we go.
Well, no, they've always done like these targeted releases. There's always been this concept. I don't actually think they changed anything, by the way.
Yeah.
But, I think they've had the system they've evolved, right? And they work with the PC makers. They have this notion of known good PC configurations. It's always been about matching what you have to their database of what should work, and you get a yay or nay based on the score, that kind of thing. I just the central issue I have with all this is I get, and you do, and like Mary Jo does, lots and lots of feedback from readers, and specifically in my case about these Windows updates. I get them all the time. I've been getting them for years and years and years. I get reports. People will list out their computers. Here's what happened. Here's what went wrong. Here's what worked. And this release has been historically bad based on the data that I've gotten. I know I'm not Microsoft. I know that. I'm not. But this is also not anecdotal. And the previous two releases, overwhelmingly positive. In fact, almost no negative feedback. It was very notable. It was really interesting. And that's what Microsoft reported, and that's what I saw, and it made sense to me. With the anniversary update from 2 summers ago, huge reliability problems that popped up, not during testing, but right after they released it to the public. They actually slowed that release down, remember, to fix the problems. The Kindles were causing blue screens. There were a couple of other issues. And Microsoft came to me and said, look, we do have problems, and here are the problems we've seen, and here's how we're going to address it in the future. They were very upfront about it. This one's weird for me because I am literally seeing the exact opposite of what they're reporting, and I'm not saying that they're lying, but it's a little weird. It's suspicious. That's all. And so I guess my advice to people who have not received this update is do what you can to defer it for at least 30 days starting today. Windows 10 Pro, that's easy. It's built into the UI. You can actually tell it how long to wait. If you're running Windows 10 Home, you're kind of screwed. And that's too bad because most consumer PCs, of course, go out with Windows 10 Home. And so the only viable thing you can do, and it's not really a great strategy, is to configure your network connection as a metered network. Windows won't download feature updates over a metered network. The issue with that is you might forget about it. So I would put a reminder in your to-do app or your calendar app or whatever it is, 15 days, 30 days, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Maybe make it for next Patch Tuesday, right? Because the second Tuesday of the month, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just not. This is not adding up for me.
Yeah. Yep. You know what this is, Paul? It's kind of hard to see.
It looks like your daughter about to be carried off by a bird on the beach.
Yeah. So my daughter was chasing this bird, and I tried to warn her about nature and how animals aren't like dogs all the time and whatnot. And this is going to sound terrible, and I hope she watches this someday. Unfortunately, the bird never attacked her. Because
right, so no lesson was learned.
This bird would land, and she would keep chasing it and trying to catch the bird. I don't really know what her plan was when she got to it, because it was, I think, a blue heron. Like, these things are large.
Yeah, we have one in the neighborhood, actually.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know. I kept the camera out, thinking that, man, this is going to be a great moment when watching my daughter get attacked by a bird.
Well, you did get a great moment.
Yeah,
no, but look at that. That's a great picture.
Instead, she just was chasing the bird. And
we have there's a giant version of that bird that lives on the river that I walk by every day, and I saw it one time. Like it went down like a foot over the river. It had to have been 6 feet tip to tip, and it just coasted all the way down this river and then went around the corner. It was amazing. It was like watching a pterodactyl from a Jurassic Park movie. Really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to do some quick math, and I was like, that bird can't actually carry her away, so I'm not in that danger.
No, but you don't want it to, God, my God, it could do some damage, though. You don't want that thing turning on your daughter.
Yeah, life lessons come in different flavors. Some of them are more violent than others. My wife is sitting there going, like, you got to tell her to stop. I'm like, you know what? We got to capture these magical moments. This is how my daughter lost
There are
an
other
eye.
ways kids can learn. I mean, touch the fire once, that will be the last time.
Yeah, she did eat my habanero cheese once, so that was fun. Yep. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No. Not really.
Okay.
Just working on the same stuff,
Good.
How about you?
The only thing that's driving me nuts in my life is, besides you, is my brand new, what's it, 3 months old, 4 months old at this point, Dell 4K monitor is, I don't know if I just didn't notice it before, but it's got some like really bad ghosting problems now, like really bad. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to contact. Fortunately, it has a 3-year warranty, which is actually pretty damn good from Dell. I'm quite pleased by that. I'm trying to decide how long I want to wait before I swap this thing out.
I would contact them.
Yeah.
And how expensive? This was expensive, right? It's a 4K
it was like
display.
$450 or $500.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, you gotta
do it. Maybe next week. This week it's not happening. We'll see. All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for today, and hopefully you have a wonderful Thursday. And we'll catch you right back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find that information at thurrott.com/live, which is where we will be, provided all the technology and internet still works by then. Have a good Thursday.